guys, it's Heather here, and I am super excited to be sharing with you sneak peek number 2. This is awesome. There are so many of you out there on social media who have been asking for something like this, and what they have done with it completely blows me away. I cannot wait to have this feature in the game. They are totally revamping how army training is done, and also doing a new quick train feature that's going to save you guys a lot of time. It's going to make your Clash life so much better. Now, in addition to the blog post, Clash of Clans is also releasing a video that is an overview to the army training revamp and the quick train system. So I'll link to that in the description down below. Be sure to check it out. I'm going to cover everything that's in that video, but I'm also going to go into further detail and give you my perspective as a player, what things to look out for when using these systems, what things to keep in mind, and a lot of the perks that are going to go along with this. You can get into the army training tabs by either clicking on a spell factory or a barrack, or by clicking on the army training icon on the left of your screen. Once you're in there, you'll see that all of your training of troops, elixir and dark, happen in one tab, and the spells happen in another tab. There's no separate barracks anymore for each of these. They're all together along with your spells. You see them all in one place, and they all queue up together in one single queue. What's new with this system is you can now fully train 2 armies at a time. You can have a full army in your camps, and you can have another one in the train troops tab. So this means if you have maxed army camps for 240 spaces and they're empty, you can queue up 480 troops in that train troops. So this is really going to change things. In the old system, you could have your armies queued up in each of your barracks, but you could only have the first troop in that barrack fully trained and available for donation. Now, all 240 spaces that are in your trained troops area can be available for donation as long as they've been fully trained, and they'll be fully trained when they have that green check mark next to them. So that means if you have a lava hound that's at the back of your queue, you just set it up for your clan mate. Once that's trained, you can go ahead and donate it. You don't have to reorder it or anything. But if you do want to reorder your trained troops that have fully trained and have a check mark in that area, you can do that by tapping on the troop, holding it, and then dragging it to the place you want it to be in, and you won't lose any of the training time. Once it's trained, it's trained. But keep in mind, if you start reordering stuff that's in the middle of training, you don't save that. So if I have a miner that has 15 seconds left from being trained and I click and drag that to a different place, I've lost that training time. It's only going to apply to ones that have that green check mark. Then you're going to keep them as being fully trained. And this same system applies to spells as well. So in the brew spells tab, you have your elixir spells and you have your dark spells all together, and you can change them up the order however you want to be. And it's the same thing. You can donate dark spells that have been fully trained anywhere in your brew spell list, as long as they have that green check mark next to them showing that they're done. So what this means is you can have 2 full armies all set up and ready to go for you when you come back on to play Clash of Clans and do your farming or do your war attacks. You can have both war armies already trained. Go do your one war attack and then come back, and everything will have already been trained in your trained troops and brew spell area, and they'll be there, and you can do your second attack immediately. You can see as I'm queuing these things up, the training time for units have been significantly decreased. I'm going to go into more detail at the end of the video all about that. Just keep in mind that you're training from 6 barracks into 1 now. If you have everything built in the game, you have your 4 barracks for regular elixir plus your 2 barracks for dark elixir, and they're all together in one system in one queue. And that's the same thing for spells. Keep that in mind. So when you boost things, you're no longer boosting single barracks. If you boost your troops, you're boosting all 6 barracks. You're boosting all of your elixir and your dark, and that goes for the spells as well. You can't just boost either your dark spell factory or your elixir spell factory. You boost them both together. They all benefit from it. Now let's go into the second part of this, the quick train, the troop recipe section. I know this is something a lot of you guys have been asking for. This is going to save a lot of time. You're going to have your favorite armies all ready to go, and boom, train them. Don't have to think about it anymore. I've done it before. I've got it there. It's ready to go. Quick train lets you create 3 army plans and train any of them with 1 tap. You have to have room in your train troops and brew spell tabs to be able to actually train them. But if there's room there, then you can go ahead and just click that button. It's a shortcut. It queues everything up for you, and it's all ready to go. You can create them, you can edit them, you can give them names, you can change their names. This is going to be super cool to have these armies all set, trained up for you. You can take a screenshot of it, send it to your clanmates, and say, hey, use this army on that base. And there you go. There's all the troops you need to train. Don't have to type it out. The other part of the quick train tab is it saves your previous army. Once you attack with an army, it's going to be saved in this previous army area. And so then you can train it just as if you have created a quick train army. It's going to keep it super organized for you guys. It's a huge improvement on your quality of life in Clash. One tip to keep in mind with this system is if you have your second army all ready to go and you're out doing an attack and you only use a partial army or you only use some of your spells, remember it's the first troops that are in your queue and in your spell queue that are going to then be part of your army. Something to keep in mind if you're gemming troops, small amounts of units have a slightly higher finishing gem cost than they do in the game right now, and larger amounts of units actually have a lower finishing gem cost, so keep that in mind. You might notice some slight changes with that if you're gemming troops. Training single troops is much faster. Like 3-minute dragon, guys. Your clanmate needs a dragon. Did you ever think there would be a day where it'd take you 3 minutes to train that up for him without having to spend any gems? It's really cool. Now keep in mind, I am on the developer build. The developer build is always subject to change. I'm going to be talking about numbers that are in this developer build as it currently is. Know that this can change by the time the update goes live, but I just wanted to give you some examples so you can understand this single queue better and how it's going to make things a lot better for you when you're building your troops and when you're donating. So as you're comparing troop training time as it is currently in the game versus how it is in this sneak peek, keep in mind that the training time has been altered to take into account that there are 6 barracks that are now combined and being trained in a single queue. But there are troops that are only available to be trained in 2 of those barracks and the other ones that are only available to be trained in 4 of the barracks. This accounts for the new golem training time of 5 minutes and the dragon training time of 3 minutes, even though both of them are currently set to be 15 minutes in the game. Keep in mind that pattern does not trickle down to the other smaller space troops. Each troop is different based on the time it currently is and the amount of troop space it takes. Miners and wizards have a huge reduction in training time, currently 5 minutes, and they're going to drop down to 30 seconds in the new update if nothing changes. All right, so barracks are now used to unlock troops and then to reduce their training time. So there are a lot of things at play here with regards to training time. Your training time is based on how many operational barracks you have for that troop. If you only have 1 barrack that can build miners, either because you haven't upgraded the other 3 or the other 3 aren't operational because you're upgrading them, it's going to take you 2 minutes to train a miner. Remember, it takes you 5 minutes in the game right now. So just with 1 barrack that can build miners, it's going to take you 2 minutes to train one. As you unlock your second barrack, that training time goes to 1 minute. And then on the third, it goes to 40 seconds. And finally, 30 seconds once all 4 of your barracks can train miners. Dragon training time starts at 12 minutes for 1 barrack, then 6, then 4, and then 3 minutes for a dragon when all 4 barracks can produce them. So let's break this down, because remember, in the live game, you can currently train miners in 5 minutes, but you can have 4 miners training at a time. So you can build 4 miners in 5 minutes. In the new system, you will have 4 miners in 2 minutes if you have all 4 barracks upgraded to miners. Time save is even greater when you're making a number of elixir troops that are not divided by 4. So to build 5 miners in live to donate them to your clanmates, it would take 10 minutes, but in this new update, it's going to take 2.5 minutes. I've run through multiple scenarios of building armies to see how long it would take on this new update versus how it is in the current game, and a lot of times I'm finding things to be much faster in the new update. Sometimes they're the same, and on a few kind of rare occasions, you might find armies take a minute or 2 longer to train on the new update. So a lot of things have been taken into account where you're normally not always training from both barracks at the same time. So I can tell a lot of detail has gone into this to keep things balanced out. So let's run through some of these scenarios. Let's say that you wanted to train an army that was half miner and half hog, so 24 of each in maxed out army camps. The miners now take 30 seconds, hogs take 45 seconds, and you might be wondering, wait, hogs only take 2 minutes in the game, why are they taking 45 seconds? Remember, you only have 2 dark barracks. There's a lot going into how they're balancing this out. So 24 of each in the new system would take 30 minutes to do. On live right now, if you were to build 24 miners and 24 hogs, it would would also take 30 minutes. The hogs would be done in 24 minutes, but the miners would take the full 30 minutes to do. Let me throw out some other numbers. Let's say you wanted to train 8 golems. Your clan's in war and everybody needs golems and you're the golem master, so you're training up 8 golems. In this new update, that's going to take you 40 minutes. 8 golems on live using 2 barracks would take 60 minutes if you put 4 in each barrack. Plus you'd have to check back at some point during that 60 minutes to get your 4th golem going because each barrack could only hold 3 golems at a time. 48 miners in the new update is going to take you 24 minutes. In the current live version, it takes 60 minutes to build 48 miners. So you guys who are building 48 miners, you just saved yourself 36 minutes. So a couple of instances where I find that it's going to take longer to build this army in the new update. Say you want to build a half and half army of golems and miners. 4 golems in live takes 30 minutes in your dark barrack. And if I were to train 6 miners in each regular elixir barrack, it's going to take 30 minutes per barrack to train those 6 miners. So my entire 240 space army would be done in 30 minutes. Now, if I set this up right now for the update and I train 24 miners and 4 golems to fill my 240 space army camp, this same army would take 32 minutes to train. So it's actually going to take 2 minutes longer. So you can see in some cases when you're mixing dark troops with elixir troops and you're mixing large campsite space with small campsite space, you might find some slightly higher training times. But then you make some slight adjustments to this army and train 6 golems and only 12 miners, and then it takes 36 minutes when it would have taken 45 minutes in the game to wait for your 6 golems to finish. Yeah, maybe you're going to find some armies that take a minute or so longer, but it's going to save you so much time to be able to have this quick train system and have everything there right at your fingertips ready to go. All right, guys, that's going to wrap this sneak peek up. If you liked it, be sure to leave it a like. If you love it, be sure to subscribe because I'm going to be coming back at you again soon with even more sneak peeks that I am even more excited about. Be sure to leave me a comment and let me know what you think of this new training system, and I'll catch you on the next one.